Introducing GForceTV. GForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GForceTV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washougal Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GForceTV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GForceTV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GForceTV racing leagues. GForceTV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GForceTV.
Well, good evening, everyone. It is Thursday Night Thunder here in the GeForce Racing Leagues, Advantage Racing TV, and GeForce Esports TV. Welcome you to GeForce Racing Big Block Modifieds presented by Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Tonight we are at Williams Grove Speedway. Good evening, everyone. My name is Scotty DeYoung, and welcome to the Gambler Motorsports pre-race show. As always, Sean Niestead is in the house as well. Sean, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
It is a great night for some big block modified action, a little thunder to get us ready for the weekend and get us all set and tuned up for that weekend. So it is a great time to be here. And Scotty, we know on Monday night you and I witnessed a great race with the A&J Custom Creations Renegades here at Williams Grove Speedway, and I expect another fantastic event here tonight with these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds.
Absolutely. Going to put on a great show like the Renegades did Monday night, like you just said, Sean. And this is definitely going to be interesting for these big blocks here with like what we would call a paperclip track with long straightaways and short, tight corners. So it is going to be an interesting one.
It is going to be a very interesting one. We'll break that down here in the coming moments here tonight on our Gambler Motorsports pre-race show. Gambler Motorsports, an esports racing team that competes across the iRacing platform. The team has drivers entered in dirt races, sports cars, paved oval. They'll even be in endurance races, including this year's prestigious 24 Hours of Daytona and Le Mans. Go to Gambler Motorsports on Facebook and give them a follow. Scotty, what stands out to you on this racetrack, of course, is those really tight corners after the long straightaways here. But what got me Monday night during the Renegades show is the track conditions were absolutely perfect on Monday. We had 3 different grooves through the course of that A main.
Yeah, we did, and I mean, with the sprint cars, they're a little bit more set up than what these modifieds are. But 3 lines of racing that we saw, and just the battle between the top 5 was just unreal. The track broke down perfectly, like you said, Sean, through the corners. Not so much on the straightaways, so they really weren't spinning the tires on the straight, but through the corners, a lot of great door-to-door racing, a little bit of contact every now and then that brought out some caution. But great battle between the top 5 on Monday night.
It was, and we hope for more of that here tonight. Need Speed Motorsports going to bring us our points update coming into this event here at the Williams Grove Speedway. And Scotty, let's take a look at those points coming in to this week 6 of action for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds.
Wayne Miller sits atop of the leaderboard right now with 273 points. Aiden Young sitting in that second spot. Jeffrey Barker in third. Those 3 guys have really put on a show the past 4 weeks here. 4 weeks here for the Big Block Modifieds. And Chris Steele currently sitting in your 4th spot. Kyle Parker in 5th.
Nicholas Vickery sits in the 6th position. Justin Sick is 7th. Steven Spees is 8th. Daniel Blau currently 9th in the point standings. And Steve Shaw rounding out the top 10. Last week it was Travis Miller going to victory lane, becoming our 4th different winner and 4 feature events for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. So we've had a lot of excitement. Of course, Field Miller up front, the 677 machine, who also has the quickest time thus far in this practice session. He has been Mr. Consistent in that 677 machine. So we'll have to watch where he shakes into the running order here tonight in the A main. Also, congratulations. We need to, during this Gambler Motorsports pre-race show, Scotty, congratulate Ludwig Buisson. And we will see him out here in the 72 ride tonight, or maybe he's got the 42 car. We'll see which one he loads up here tonight. But he's coming off the win a few minutes ago, the 358 cars, as we had a good look a few minutes ago of Field Miller's car. But Ludwig Buisson picked up the win in the 358s here a few minutes ago. Trent Verstraeten was second in the 358s in the 088 machine. Gregory Sager third. Nicholas Vickery was fourth, and Jeremy Prey finished fifth. And our 2Ws Plumbing Hard Charger Award recipient earlier in the 358 feature was Troy Stewart. He drove up to finish in 8th position. That was a gain of 9 during the course of that A main. That was earlier tonight with the 358 modified. So, similar cars, Scotty. The cars look the same. They drive similar, but a whole lot more horsepower with these big block modifieds. Folks who may be tuning in more familiar with sprint cars, these are bigger motors than what your 410 sprint car would have, being big block type, but they're going to put out right around that same 900, 950 horsepower. So we're talking a lot of power and a lot of speed to haul these cars down the straightaways. Of course, they've got more weight than a standard sprint car, but still, nonetheless, we're going to see some great racing and high speeds on these long straightaways here at Williams Grove.
Yeah, currently on the track right now, the 117 of Stewart, as you see him using that middle to high line down the straight and through the corners on board with the left front now. And you're noticing, Sean, we've noticed past few weeks, a lot of these guys carrying that left front all around the racetrack. We have yet to see one hike that left front in the air. All fours on the ground as drivers trying to navigate their way around this interesting track.
Yeah, you always want to. It's a balancing act, right? Between getting weight to the right rear to drive the car forward, but if you get it too much, the car gets too tight. When we say too tight, that means it simply will not turn. Kind of like if you're driving fast down a winter road and suddenly you decide, I'm going to take this block, and you turn the wheels and the car keeps going straight. That's what a tight race car is like. Your wheels are turned, but you're not going anywhere, and you're just driving right through those front tires. And that's the balancing act that these drivers in these modifieds are trying to tiptoe on each and every week, is how much weight can they get on the right rear for forward bite without making the car way too tight, or push, as we would call it. So we'll see some of that tonight, I'm sure. These long straightaways, it's easy to overdrive that corner entry and get in there way too fast to go pushing up and bang this jagged, rough, mean old guardrail here at the historic Williams Grove Speedway.
Especially with these open setups, and these drivers have to make sure they've got the right gears so they're not getting burnt out by the time they get to the entrance of the corner, and not have any pull coming off, or vice versa. Have too tall of gears and not get enough speed going into the corner. That's pushing up the track as well, and not getting the pull they would need out.
That's exactly the balance here that makes Williams Grove so difficult. Is you're working through the corner that's like a quarter-mile corner, and then you're on a straightaway that's forever and ever and ever long. So, if you want to get up and off the corner real quickly, you put the short gears in, and it's going to work, get you off the corner. But as you put it, burned out or halfway down the straightaway, you're going to be hitting the rev limiter, and that's not good either. You're just not going to have the speed when you get to the corner. So a lot of different balancing acts going on when these drivers are getting these open setups ready here tonight for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds.
So like we saw on Monday night, Sean, I mean, we saw those 3 multiple lines like we talked about earlier. With these modifieds, though, not quite sure how many lines we're going to get with how these guys really throw the cars into the corner, much like sprint cars. As you see, we got one up and over. That would be the 54 car of Shaw, I believe. Oh, 519, excuse me. And yeah, 519 Upshaw. And yeah, that's exactly what you don't want to do running that low side there. Like we saw, he just got the guardrail ever so slightly and up and over he went.
It doesn't take a whole lot. Now, there's not a guardrail all along the bottom of the racetrack here, like say Volusia or something like that, where there's that wall, but there's the infield tractor tires. There's a mix of everything here at Williams Grove. The track has a lot of character. It's an old historic facility. It's awesome. It puts on fantastic racing, both on iRacing and in the real world. But there's a lot of things that you can make a very small mistake and get bitten by here on this racetrack. I love this racetrack. Monday night's event was fantastic with the 360 sprint cars, and looking forward to seeing these big blocks on here as well. I will say, I'm generally pretty awful at driving Williams Grove in my iRacing experience, but for some reason, these big blocks and the 358s, I love driving them around this racetrack. So it is a lot of fun to get out here on this half mile.
Well, you have more experience than I do in the iRacing world, and I guess I would have more experience than you do out in the real world. So, yeah, it's just watching these cars in practice here was a lot of fun. The Renegades Monday night. Let's talk about the one move that you and I were impressed with, and we'll see if we maybe have a move like that here tonight. We're 3 wide for the race lead, and second place running Bowers. He could have just taken the nose off of our leader there, Lacey, and didn't left him enough room to get by on the outside. But when you're in a situation like that and there's not a lot of room, you have to make a split-second decision.
Yeah, and we're going to see a lot of that here tonight too because of the way this track is shaped out. I mean, the slide jobs, if when the groove gets up to the top, that slide job comes into play, and that's when the driver's got to make the decision if they're halfway in between sending it or not sending it fully. They're going to have to make that choice. And fortunately, on Monday night, Sean Bowers made the sportsmanlike decision and the gentlemanly decision and did the right thing. That doesn't always happen. So the plot will be thick here tonight when we get around to that A main. That's going to conclude tonight's Gambler Motorsports pre-race show, and that'll take us into tonight's Vanderbilt Racing qualifications. Vanderbilt Racing is a proud supporter of the GeForce Racing Leagues, and there's nearly 20 GeForce Racing Leagues happening out there now. Vanderbilt Racing is headquartered over in Rochester, Minnesota. They put a focus on fun and friendly competition. That's Vanderbilt Racing, bringing you tonight's qualifications here tonight for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. And yeah, I mentioned there for a moment about 20 different GeForce Racing Leagues going on. You can see more info. Everything from these big blocks to the sprint cars we're talking about, modifieds, late models, even some pavement stuff as well. There's something for everybody. GeForceRL.com. That'll be the place to go to learn more about that, or look them up on Facebook, GeForce Racing Leagues. All right, time's about to start coming in for the start here of Vanderbilt qualifications, and look at that. Your points leader, Field Miller, goes to the top of the charts with the 20.217. That is quick time right out of the gate.
Currently, Jonathan Short sitting in second place, just 0.12 behind Field Miller. And Ludovic Buisson, your 358 big block modified winner earlier, the 358 series, third quickest so far.
Buisson at 20.339. Looks like Kyle Parker is fourth in the 13 car at 20.367. And completing your top 5 is Dan McLaren, the number 89, at a 20.409. So top drivers coming in there in the top 5, relatively close together, about 0.2 of a second in the top 5. So yeah, we big half mile. So that's relatively close times here on this track. So the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds here tonight at the Williams Grove Speedway, brought to you by Epsilon Sprint Wraps. If you're looking to stand out from the competition, Epsilon Sprint Wraps creates tailor-made graphics and logos to fit your personal taste. With a focus on realistic design, you'll look like you drove right off of your local dirt track and into the iRacing sim. Champions choose Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Tonight also brought to us in part by Schultz Heating and Cooling. Schultz Heating and Cooling are the HVAC experts in Plattsburgh, New York. Whether you need a routine maintenance check or an emergency repair on heating or cooling units, Schultz Heating and Cooling technicians are available to handle all of your heating and cooling and ventilation needs. Call Schultz Heating and Cooling at 585-330-4992. And tonight also brought to you in part by Howard Hanna Real Estate. Howard Hanna Real Estate Services, #1 family-owned and operated independent broker in the United States. And Scott Hurwitz at Howard Hanna Real Estate has been a multi-million-dollar commercial and residential real estate agent for many years. He can help anyone find an experienced and professional realtor anywhere across the country who has the right experience and knowledge to ask those perfect questions to get you the best house at the right price. That is Howard Hanna Real Estate and Scott Hurwitz at Howard Hanna Real Estate, some of our supporters of tonight's GeForce Racing event for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified. Scotty, it looks like cars starting to line up on the speedway for our first heat race of the evening.
Starting on the pole for our A&J Custom Creations heat race #1 is going to be the 80 of Chris Steele to the inside, and to his outside, the 89 of Dan McLaren.
Second row, we talked about this driver as the winner of the 358s. It's Ludovic Buisson in the number 72. And next to him, he is your current points leader for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified Series in the 677. It's Field Miller.
It's going to be Rob Shaw to the inside, and car 5-1-9 to the outside, the 24 of Kyle Moonen.
And the final row will have Austin Graby in the 87 out of Pennsylvania inside. Connor Ross drives the number 35. He'll start 8th on the grid for our A&J Custom Creations heat race #1. A&J Custom Creations specializes in laser engraving and CNC machining. A&J Custom Creations puts its craftsmanship to work in every trophy or plaque that they produce. A&J provides trophies and plaques for all GeForce Racing League division champions, and that's a lot of them. So contact Andy Patton to order your custom creation today. You know, anyone, you can get a trophy just about anywhere, but to get a custom trophy, that's really when they start to mean something. So A&J Custom Creations, a big thanks to them for their support of the GeForce Racing Leagues.
This is going to be the A&J Custom Creations heat race #1. Top 4 transferring to tonight's A main right out of the gate. Once again, Thursday Night Thunder, Big Block Modifieds. You know, we were in store for a treat Monday with the Renegades 360 sprint car, Sean, and we're about to kick off Thursday Night Thunder with some Big Block Modifieds. Take the green flag, my friend.
Oh, I like big blocks, and I cannot lie. Here we go. We will wait for the green from the flag stand. It's a little bit late start here at Williams Grove. They're partway down the straightaway. Right there, you see the cars hike up as they go under throttle and head on down into turn #1. It is Chris Steele grabbing the initial lead. He's got Field Miller working to the inside behind him. Your points leader up to the 2nd spot. Dan McLaren runs in the 3rd position. Now he works to the outside of Miller. Battle for 3rd, making battle for 2nd off of turn #4, but leading your first lap will be the 80 of Chris Steele.
Cars working on the top, down the back and front stretch to the inside and middle of the track through the corners. Chris Steele out with the race lead. Field Miller coming back. He's going to get that 2nd place spot, battling for 3rd between McLaren and Buisson, your current top 4.
The Carolina Tea Company 677 of Field Miller looking for the race lead. Will he get it? Steele has it as they race back down into turn #1. Here comes the 72, making 42 on the side of the car of Ludovic Buisson. As we go on board your race leader, Field Miller looking back at the rest of the field behind him. That's Buisson in 2nd, McLaren 3rd, and Chris Steele in the final transfer spot.
Changing your top 4, still the same 4 cars in the final transfer spots. Steele going to come under fire from Moonen now in car 24 as he enters the top 5. Still out in front, though. Field Miller working the bottom side of the racetrack. You see Moonen and Steele side by side for that 4th and final transfer spot. And here comes Shaw in the 519 car as well. Moonen to the advantage in position #4.
So Kyle Moonen into the final transfer spot. Everybody's going to make the big dance here tonight, but those who finish 5th or deeper out of these heat races going to have to run through the consolation. Right now, Kyle Moonen in 4th, hoping to avoid that. Field Miller out front. He's avoiding everybody. He will lead as we come to the stripe with 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go in heat race #1. Field Miller still out in front. 89 of McLaren and Buisson battling for that 2nd spot through the corners that time by. They are going to go down the backstretch into turn #3. Single file around the raceway now. Moonen in position #4, that 4th and final transfer spot. McLaren, Buisson, and Miller, no change in your top 4.
We've got 2 laps to go. Let's go on board the 89 of Dan McLaren, running in position number 3 for that Mobile 1. TRD car number 89. He'll work through turn number 3, heading to turn number 4. That's where your leader, Field Miller, comes off of the corner as well. They all see the white flag in the air. We're circuiting the Williams Grove Speedway one last time in the A&J Custom Creations Heat Race number 1.
Off turn number 2, down the backstretch now, Field Miller. He will pick up heat race number 1. And Ludovic Buisson going to come home in position number 2. McLaren in that 3rd spot. We're going to see a battle here for that 4th and final transfer. Does not look like it. Kyle Noonan taking home your 4th and final transfer spot. Chris Steele rounds out your top 5.
Rob Shaw finishes in 6th. Austin Graby is 7th, and Connor Ross will finish in position number 8. That puts your A&J Custom Creations Heat Race number 1 into the books, and Heat Race number 2 heading to the staging area tonight for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds, another 8-lap event on tap, and it's Nicholas Vickery, the 00 machine. He will line up on the pole. He comes off of a 4th place run earlier tonight in the 358. Andrew Smith drives the number 79. He lines up next to him on your front row.
Kyle Parker is going to look to the inside of row number 2 in car 013. And to the outside of the 51 is Jonathan Short.
We go to the 3rd row. That's where Jeremy Prey and the 817 will line up on the inside. And he comes off a 5th place run in the 358s. Troy Stewart, who was your hard charger in the 358s, he'll line up 6th on this grid.
He's going to see Jeff Flero in the 200 car starting shotgun on the field.
That is the starting grid. 8 laps the distance. Again, top 4 directly to the A main. The others will run tonight's position-only consolation event. This is the Makoni Setup Shop. Heat race number 2 at the Makoni Setup Shop. They may be their setups, but they are your victories. Makoni's commitment to providing high-quality setups at an affordable price drives that company from day 1 and into this day. Makoni Setup Shop builds personal relationships with all of their customers, so they have an open-door communication policy for any tweaks you would need from your setup from Makoni Setup Shop. I like that, Scotty. You know, iRacing can be a bit, how do you say it, overwhelming when you get into it. These cars have as many adjustments as the real world counterparts, and so if you're a guy like me, you're not all that mechanical, and you don't really know where to get started in the right direction or how to get these cars set up to handle their best. That's where great people like the Makoni Setup Shop come in. You go to them and they help you get your cars dialed in and let you focus on the driving. I like that. So Makoni Setup Shop, a great supporter of the GeForce Racing Leagues. Speaking of racing, here we go. Heat race number 2, brought to us by Makoni Setup Shop, and they come to the green, Scotty.
As they come down the front stretch, green flag is in the air. We are underway. Vickery and Smith going to lead him down into turn number 1. Vickery down on the low side, almost on the tires. Smith up top. Battle for the race lead. Nicholas Vickery is going to lead him into turn number 3.
Vickery in that 00 looking strong on this opening lap. He'll bring that Spartan 00 off of the corner. Started a battle for that 2nd spot just behind him. Andrew Smith, Kyle Parker. Pretty close right there. Parker in that gold 013 for the numbers. He'll look to the inside. Great drive off of turn number 2. Put the 13 of Kyle Parker up to 2nd. That bumps Andrew Smith back to 3rd. And Jonathan Short now coming after him as they work off of 4.
Jonathan Short going to tuck tail behind Parker there in the 013, side by side for that 3rd and 4th place spot. Short has it through the corners. Will he get the drive he needs? Yes, he will. It's going to be Smith shuffled back to that 4th and final transfer spot. But here comes Prey in that 5th spot. Going to try to challenge here as we are halfway down with this heat race, Sean.
It is still Nicholas Vickery out front. The Spartan MIA car number 00 leading him off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway. But closing in is Kyle Parker. That 013 ride, the Spartan Racing entry. Closing in, he's got it down to 0.3 of a second, and even less as they come down the front straightaway.
Way down, halfway to go. Vickery still with the race lead, but for how long? As here comes Parker to the inside off turn number 2. Side by side for that race lead as they thunder down the backstretch into turn number 3. Vickery to the outside, Parker to the inside. Is he going to get the drive off the corner? And yes, he is. New race leader, Kyle Parker in car 013.
So a couple of Spartan Racing cars going back and forth at the race lead. Nicholas Vickery on board with the 00 machine. Parker just to his inside now commands the lead as they hit turn number 3. Vickery going to take a look back to his inside as they work off of turn number 4 down the long front straightaway. They'll see 2 laps to go at the flag stand.
Green flag in the air, 2 laps to go. Vickery trying to work to the inside of Parker through 1 and 2, cannot get it done. Meanwhile, here comes Jonathan Short in car 51 and Smith in the 79 car, battling back for that 3rd place position. Short slide job, cannot make it stick. Smith on the outside coming off the corner. Jonathan Short still with a race advantage, but this race is not over yet.
Oh, it is a good one for that 3rd position. Short with it. But Smith starting to find something on a little bit higher line. That's happening in front of Jeremy Prey, who's back in 5th. Meanwhile, final set of turns for Kyle Parker. The 0-1-3 going to navigate down the front straightaway for the final time. He'll take the win in our McConey Setup Shop Heat Race number 2. Nicholas Vickery in 2nd, Jonathan Short 3rd, Andrew Smith was 4th, and Jeremy Prey 5th, with Troy Stewart 6th in our McConey Setup Shop Heat Race number 2. We'll put 10 laps on the board for our next event of the evening. It's your Velocity Race Design B feature event. Look no further than Velocity Race Design for a fresh new look for your favorite dirt car, whether it's that hot new design for your real car or a retro throwback. I love the retro throwbacks on iRacing, by the way, of your heroes for the sim. Velocity Race Design can have you covered. Race on over to Velocity Race Design on Facebook and order yourself your custom paint design from Velocity Race Design, who brings us this 10-lap consolation feature here tonight for starting positions in tonight's main event. So if you start first, you're going to start, or if you finish first in this Velocity Race Design B main, you're going to start 9th on the grid for tonight's A feature. So let's take a look at that starting lineup, Scotty.
Chris Steele in the 8 car is going to sit on the pole with Jeremy Prey in the 817 to his outside.
That'll be Rob Shaw, the 519, starting inside the 2nd row, and next to him, the 117, that's Troy Stewart.
Austin Gravy in the 087 to the inside of row 3. Jeff Flaro in the 200 to the outside.
And your final scheduled starter is Connor Ross in the number 35. So scheduled to go 7 cars. Again, everybody's going to the dance here tonight, but it just matters where you line up in the main event. So every position, if you can gain, so say you're Connor Ross in this one, you could go from starting, pretty deep in that A main all the way up to a 9th place starting spot. So it all matters here in this upcoming 10-lap event for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds in our Velocity Race Design B main. The other thing that's important about this race, Scotty, let's say your car's not handling right. Wouldn't you love to have another opportunity to go out there and feel the race car out, maybe try a few things?
Absolutely, just an extra test and tune session here to make sure you got things well, maybe not perfect, but hopefully darn near perfect for the A feature setup-wise.
Chris Steele on the pole position. He was last week's 2W's Plumbing Hard Charger Award recipient in our A main, if I remember correctly, in that number 80 machine.
Looks like it, and yeah, he had the car set up perfectly to make up all those positions to be the hard charger. A little different here tonight with a different racetrack, so it's anyone's guess on who that will be, but looks like Pace Truck drops him off, and we're about to go green here on the front stretch.
Awaiting that green flag again. It's a late green here at the Williams Grove Speedway. It drops, and here we go. Headed on down into turn number 1. That Gulfite Concrete and Drain Limited number 80 of Chris Steele out to the early race lead, just in front of Jeremy Prey and Rob Shaw, who are side by side, racing for 2nd as they go under the bridge and hit turn 3.
Hitting turn 3 they will, and Gravy right there with him in the 087. Now falls back a little bit. Your 2nd place spot going to Prey. Shaw running 3rd, but Chris Steele out in front of the 80.
Chris Steele feeling this racetrack out. The groove still mostly towards the low side of the speedway here at Williams Grove. We'll continue to watch that move up the racetrack as it works in through the course of this Velocity Race Design B main event and our Epsilon Sprint Wraps A main. It is Chris Steele, your race leader, his lead, 4/10 of the second. Over 2nd place running Jeremy Prey in the 817.
Chris Steele looking good, though, in this consolation feature as he is out to almost a half-second lead over Jeremy Prey. Right now, Shaw running in 3rd. Prey looks like he's closing in just a little bit in that 817 car as they come into turn number 1.
Over into turn 2 they go now as we're on board with second place running Jeremy Prey. The 817 machine looking pretty good here. The Savannah Auto Electric entry working to the top side of the speedway and closing in on Chris Steele as they come down the front straightaway. They now have 6 laps remaining.
Steele's lead is diminishing as here comes Prey on the outside go. Steele slams the door shut off turn number 2 that time by Jeremy Prey. Might have found something. Looks like he might switch lines here. Nope, he's going to stay up top and carry the momentum through the corner.
So it is still Chris Steele in the number 80 machine as drivers continue to search for different lines here at the Williams Grove Speedway. A little dust in the air. Love the look here on iRacing. Jeremy Prey now falling back about a half second. So Steele, whatever he has found, has really started to let him pull away from this one. He is your race leader down the front straightaway. We'll go into the second half of this one now. 4 laps remaining in tonight's Velocity Race Design B Main.
Cars single filing themselves around the raceway. We're looking at the car 117 of Stewart, and right in front of him Shaw in the 519 car. Looks like Stewart pushed that corner last time by on the inside of the racetrack. That one a little bit better, but seems like a tight handling car for the 117 of Stewart.
That's exactly what we had talked about earlier tonight, Scotty. That fine line between forward drive and way too tight. And that is a line they're going to tap dance for the remaining 3 laps of this one, and as they get their cars set up for the upcoming A-Main. Chris Steele, your race leader, the number 80 car, going by the flag stand. 1 mile to go here in our Velocity Race Design B Main. Chris Steele leading by 7/10 of a second over Jeremy Prey. Then it is Rob Shaw, who is 1.3 seconds behind Prey. Let's go on board the 80 of Steele. We'll look back at Prey and the rest of the field as they come down the front straightaway with the white flag flying.
So the white bed sheet is in the air. You see the lead that Steele has, almost a full second over Jeremy Prey in car 817 coming down the backstretch into turn number 3. Great battle for that 3rd and 4th place spot, though. Ill handling car from Stewart in the 117 might have found something now coming off turn number 4. They're going to race side by side. It's going to be Shaw, though, for that 3rd place spot. Stewart will get 4th, Gravy 5th, and Ross in that 6th position. But it is Chris Steele in the 80 car. He'll be starting 9th in your A main.
So a good run there tonight, and congratulations to Chris Steele picking up the victory in tonight's Velocity Race Design B Main. That will bring us into tonight's Icon Sim Sports pre-main break before our A feature here. Icon Sim Sports aims to bring the sim racing community a one-of-a-kind fixed chassis experience that's like none other. They also exemplify extraordinary customer service. Imagine having a sim racing chassis built specifically for you, a custom chassis engineered to accommodate you and your needs, all while replicating the look, feel, and design of a real race car. You can race on over to iconsimsports.com to learn more about them. Stay tuned. You will also learn more about Icon Sim Sports in our upcoming break. When we come back, you'll meet this week's NSM Photos Driver of the Week, and we will have your Epsilon Sprint Wraps A-Main live from the Williams Grove Speedway here on GeForce TV. Stay with us.
At McConey Setup Shop, we offer custom-built setups for any asphalt oval car. Prices starting at just $5. Weekly setups available for all Legends, late models, modifieds, and NASCAR trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. Do you need one-on-one driver coaching? We've got you covered. Visit www.McConeySetupShop.com and find yourself in Victory Lane. McConey Setup Shop, handling all your setup needs so you don't have to.
Welcome back to the Thursday Night Thunder with the big block modifieds from William Grove Speedway. And we are here to tell you about the NSM Photos Driver of the Week. And congratulations to Lance Ripka on capturing Driver of the Week for week number 5 of the GeForce Racing Leads in 2021 winter season. Lance started position 21 in last week's midget feature, passing 15 cars to finish position number 6. And our honorable mention tonight, Nathan Aldrich, who gained 15th position in the sportsman division, going from position 23 to position number 8.
NSM Photos is bringing you the Driver of the Week award. NSM Photos is the newest division of Need Speed Motorsports. NSM Photos able to provide professional-looking pictures in both 1080p as well as stunning 4K resolution. I've seen some of their work. It is amazing. In addition to pictures, NSM Photos also offers hero cards. It's another great way to show off your car, your team, and you. Check out NSM Photos on Facebook and at needspeedmotorsports.com. Big thanks to them for their support of the GeForce Racing Leagues. With Scotty DeYoung, I'm Sean Niestead as we get set for tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps main event for the big block modifieds here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Of course, Scotty, we'll have our 2Ws Plumbing Hard Charger Award up for grabs in this 30-lapper, brought to us by 2Ws Plumbing of Naples, New York. 2Ws Plumbing, a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing, general contracting, and water treatment. They'll handle all of your commercial, residential, and multifamily housing plumbing needs. You can contact Chris Whipple, 585-749-9478, or 2WSPlumbingLLC.com. That's 2Ws Plumbing, the supporter of tonight's Hard Charger Award.
Also, our instant replays for the night will be brought to you by Malcolm Mills Replays, based in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. Malcolm Mills Millwrighting is a full-service millwrighting contractor featuring custom welding and fabricating, plus service for industrial clients. Look them up at MMillwrighting.com. Once again, bringing you all of tonight's replays, Malcolm Mills.
Coming up here in about 30 seconds, we'll roll into tonight's starting lineup for the main event, and that is brought to us by Supreme Sim Racing, an international sim racing team made up of talented sim racers from all around the world. Are you Supreme and looking to join an easy and fun sim racing team? Then Team Supreme might be for you. Watch for the team-hosted lobbies posted throughout the week under the name SSR for your chance to be invited to the team at Supreme Sim Racing. Nobody does it like Team Supreme. Just about set for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps main event here at the Williams Grove Speedway for the big block modifieds on Thursday Night Thunder. Scotty, I'm getting excited for this one. Checkered flag is out for that pre-main event warm-up session. We're moments away from the start of the big 30-lap main event here tonight.
That we are. These modifieds putting on a great show here tonight. And let's take a look at tonight's starting lineup, Sean.
On the pole, he is your points leader. He drives the Carolina Tea Company car number 677. It's Field Miller. And next to him in the 13, it's Kyle Parker.
The inside of row number 2, driving the 42 tonight, that is Ludovic Buisson. And to his outside, the 00 of Nicholas Vickery.
We'll go to the third row inside. The number 89 of Dan McLaren lines up in that position. And going from 6th on the grid in the number 51, it's Jonathan Short.
Starting in the 7th place spot, it's going to be Kyle Moonen in car 24 and Andrew Smith to the outside in car 79.
Your B-Main winner lines up 9th on the grid. He was your hard charger 1 week ago in the number 80. It is Chris Steele. And on his outside, lining up 10th on the grid in the 817 from Waith Racing, it's Jeremy Prey.
As starting in the 11th place spot, that's going to be Rob Shaw. And to the outside is going to be Troy Stewart in the 117.
We'll go to row number 7. It's Austin Graby out of Pennsylvania on the inside. That's the 87 machine. Connor Ross in the number 35 will line up in position number 14. And that is going to be your starting lineup here tonight, brought to us by Supreme Sim Racing for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds and their main event here at the Williams Grove Speedway. We are one lap from the drop of the green for the main event.
We want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in tonight here for the GeForce Racing Leagues. Be sure to check out the other leagues that they have. Tomorrow night is Flat Out Friday with some pro late models. And then again on Monday Night Madness with some Renegades 360s midget division on Tuesdays. and we have street stocks on Wednesdays, and then once again we'll be back here on Thursday for Thursday Night Thunder with some big block modifieds.
Oh, you know what I like to do? I go to the GeForce esports page on YouTube and make sure to like and follow that page. And then every time somebody goes live and there's a race, it pops up on your phone. There you go. You're ready to know, and you know there's a race going on, and it's always exciting. Speaking of exciting, here we go. Epsilon Sprint Wraps bringing you the big block modifieds, 30 laps at the Williams Grove Speedway, and we are green.
Flag is out. We are underway, thundering down into turn number 1. Field Miller out with the early race lead. Here comes Parker to the outside, though. Almost 3 wide, come out turn 2. Buisan gets a little slideways. It's not going to cost him, though, as he is still running in that 4th place position. Here comes 51 as the caution flag flies.
It sounds like trouble for Connor Ross deep in the field. Had a little trouble there running in the 14th position. Oh, trouble. It was Troy Stewart. Had the trouble on the back straightaway. Got the 117 into the outside wall and looped the car around. That brought out the caution. So Troy Stewart with trouble here in the 117 machine. Puts us under the yellow. We'll go 1 lap in to tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified, a feature.
Ludwig Buisan off turn number 2 there, Sean, got a little slideways by himself and gathered it back up, lost 1 position, but yeah, just probably the caution was the best thing that he was thinking right there, right as the yellow flag came out.
Yeah, the TSL Speed Lab number 42, not minding the caution at that point. Good podium position run for him right now, fresh off the 358 victory. Less than an hour ago, they took the checkered flag on that one, so we'll see if the driver from north of the border can hold on to another good, strong run here tonight, and maybe, just maybe, put that 42 back into victory lane one more time here tonight.
I think that he would have an advantage coming off the 358s into the Epsilon Sprint Wraps, big blocks here. But, you know, with, like you said, there's a lot of different horsepower, though, changing horsepower going from the 358 to these cars. But you think he would just have an advantage on having just driven on the same track, knowing how it breaks down. So we'll see what that 42 car has tonight in this Epsilon Sprint Wraps A main.
Yeah, you know, lap time is always good to get you around the racetrack. I just don't know. I mean, there's such a difference between the 358 modifieds and these big blocks that, you know, your setups are different. Your weight transfer is so much quicker in these. So pretty different game. It's kind of like saying going from a 305 to a 360 sprint would be the same, or a 360 sprint to a 410 would be the same. And every time you add that much more horsepower, it just changes the game so much.
That
Let's
it will
get set
be.
for this. We'll get set for this restart here, Scotty. Let's go on board the 677 of Field Miller. Your points leader is your early race leader as well.
And he's looking back at Parker. Parker's going to give him a bump as the green flag comes out. We are underway. Great restart by your points leader in the 677.
Yeah, absolutely nailed that one. Here comes the 00 of Nicholas Vickery all over the 42 of Ludwig Buisan off of turn number 2. Now they'll flash under the bridge and hit turn number 3. The 00 of Vickery works to the bottom. Buisan high line, but leading. The first complete green flag lap is Field Miller.
Field Miller out in position number 1, but look at who's beside him, though. Parker tries a charge to the outside. Miller shuts the door on him as they come down the backstretch into turn number 3. Still side by side for that race lead.
It is anyone's guess who's going to exit the corner with the race lead right here. Here comes Kyle Parker to the outside. Dead heat down the front straightaway. Back to turn number 1 they go. Miller on the bottom, but it's Kyle Parker, your new race leader. He's got the spot as they exit to turn number 2. And here comes Buisan.
Buisan battling now for that second place spot. Tucked tail behind the 677 of Field Miller. Nicholas Vickery running in position number 4. Anyone's guess is who's going to come home here as position number 5 now. Vickery McLaren in position number 6.
It is still Kyle Parker, though, starting to pull away. He's got 0.4 of a second over Field Miller in second. Ludwig Buisan continuing to work him over as they come off of turn number 4 and fly by the flag stand. Back to turn number 1 they go. Kyle Parker looking so strong in that 13 ride as they exit turn 2.
Let's look at Buisan, though, trying to fight to the inside of the 677 of Field Miller. Nicholas Vickery still in that 4th position. McLaren rounding out your top 5. Miller getting pushed way up the track. Here comes Buisan to take away that second place position.
So Buisson up to position number 2, following now your race leader Kyle Parker, who was 5th in the show last week at Lernerville and entered the points this week. Did Kyle Parker in position number 2. So trying to make the most of this event here at Williams Grove Speedway. He'll lead down the front straightaway. We've got 23 circuits to go.
While deeper in the field, we see McLaren working the inside of Vickery in car 89. Jonathan Short in car 51 coming a call around the outside, trying to be a part of that race action. Battling for position number 4 between Nicholas Vickery and Dan McLaren, rounding out your top 5.
So now with 22 laps to go, the lead for Kyle Parker is 0.3 of a second over Ludovic Buisson. The last lap, though, for Buisson was a 1/10.5 faster than your race leader. So Ludovic Buisson on the move here tonight, trying to go back-to-back 358s and big blocks as the caution flag comes out over the Williams Grove Speedway.
Not what Kyle Parker wanted to see, but Buisson was closing the gap. So we'll have to see on this restart what Buisson has for that 0-13 of Parker.
Taking a look here, maybe what caused the caution. Looks like Chris Steele may have had trouble. Yeah, he had trouble indeed. He hit the lip on the backstretch wall at the gate, and that has all but destroyed the number 80 ride tonight for Chris Steele. So he has fallen deep in the field. We'll see if he gets that car back out here and tag the tail for a restart. But as you were talking about there, Kyle Parker looking very, very strong, but Ludovic Buisson coming after him, Scotty.
Like I said on that last caution, could Buisson maybe have the advantage having run the 358s just before these big blocks? And I think we're kind of seeing that just a little bit, Sean, as he is getting closer and closer digging into Kyle Parker's lead.
You know, I doubted you at that time because there's such a difference, but he has the cars dialed in and looking very good. Kyle Parker was 3rd earlier this year on our season opener at Limaland, coming off another top 5 run here 1 week ago at the Lernerville Speedway, and is your race leader at this current point. Ludovic Buisson has not been a consistent runner of these Epsilon Sprint Reps big block modifieds, but we've seen him have a lot of speed when he's been in competition. One misstep last week really took him out of a good run at the Lernerville Speedway, got over the edge of the racetrack at the exit of turn number 4 and slapped into the wall. We could see that 42 machine if he can eliminate mistakes like that. He's going to be a player here with 21 laps to go when we come back to the screen here on the front straightaway.
And we talk about setup though too, Sean. I mean, he's got to have that car. He's got the car set perfect for right now. But as his track breaks down more and more throughout this feature, as we have about 20 laps to go here, will that car be able to maintain the setup it has to push him to that forward spot?
That is always a consideration with these big block modifieds, with how you have to have the car ready to go at the end of the race as well as enough speed at the beginning. Hey, speaking of speed, look at Kyle Parker. What a restart for that 13. And here comes the 677 of Field Miller. He'll grab second. They're jostling around for 3rd. Ludovic Buisson has been shuffled in. They're 3 wide as they get to turn number 3. 3 wide. That is tight going down there. The 89 going to get into the wall. That's Dan McLaren. They're 3 wide as they exit turn number 4. Now they'll settle it down to a nice 2x2 battle.
Something had to give, and give it did. And Buisson up and over in car 42. McLaren involved as well. Caution flag is going to fly.
Oh, that is not going to have Ludovic Buisson very happy under the helmet here. After that, he was sitting so good, got shuffled back on that restart, and then all sorts of trouble here over in turns 1 and 2 with that 42 machine. And boy, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It was real close racing between Buisson and the 89 of McLaren, and well, we saw the final result of it down there in turn number 2 was Buisson going up and over.
As we are looking at a replay here, Malcolm Mills replay, yeah, just both cars getting a little high and McLaren having nowhere to go. But into the back of the 42 car, and tough luck for Ludovic Buisson here 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, you see McLaren just nowhere to go, and up and over goes the 42. Tough luck for Ludovic Buisson here at Williams Grove.
All of our replays brought to us by Malcolm Mills, and we thank them for their support of all of the GeForce Racing Leagues. Malcolm Mills, based in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. They're a full-service millwrighting contractor featuring custom welding and fabricating. Plus, they've got full services for their industrial clients. That's mmmillwrighting.com for Malcolm Mills, and our replay supplier here tonight for Thursday Night Thunder. So that changes things up here front of the pack here, Scotty. We were talking about, what Buisson may have in store for the closing laps of this one. Now, take him out of the mix there, but put your points leader back into position number 2.
And Field Miller had a great restart there on that after that last caution, so he might have something for Parker here on this restart as he starts to the outside of him. Nicholas Vickery moving up to 3rd, McLaren in 4th, and Jonathan Short now rounding out your top 5 in car 51.
That is your top 5. By the way, Ludovic Buisson has been through the pit area and has not made it back out onto the speedway. I was looking to see if he was going to make it back out. He has not, so you can pretty well eliminate that car from contention here tonight. Was wondering if maybe he'd get a quick pit and get back out here and maybe just have a chance to get back up in the front of the running. Speaking of running, here we go. 20 laps on the board as we run back down into turn number 1. Another good restart there for Kyle Parker and Field Miller. Nicholas Vickery into the top 3 now as he starts to dance for a spot on the podium.
Nicholas Vickery as well, and slams the door on McLaren off turn number 2. Wow, almost running out of room there, and McLaren just getting on the brakes to avoid contact. Vickery changing his line, going up to the top shelf. McLaren still running in 4th and battle for that 5th place spot now between Jeremy Prey and Jonathan Short. Kyle Moonen now moving up to the 6th.
So Moonen is 6th. Prey breaking, ending your top 5 there, the 817 machine. He's advanced 5 spots. He'd be the front runner right now for the 2Ws Plumbing Hard Charger Award as he made his way out of the B main here tonight. So that 817 up to 5th. We'll see if he's got any more left in the tank to advance there in the top 5. Starting to see him pick the left front tire in the air. Out front, Kyle Parker. It's got company. The company's name is Field Miller as they come off of turn number 4.
Tail behind the rear push bar of that 013 is Field Miller. He's gaining ever so slightly. Tried to take a peek to the inside off turn number 2 that time by. Will duck tail behind him again as we look on the rear of Parker, looking back at Field Miller. Here goes Miller to the inside. Vickery tuck tail behind him as well.
You can bet that Nicholas Vickery back there in 3rd is urging Field Miller to start dicing it up with Kyle Parker because he is right there and ready to pounce on them as well. Here's a run to the outside from Miller. Cannot get the nose up there. The 13 of Kyle Parker leads him back into turn number 3. Top 3 all together as we race off of turn number 4. We're beyond the halfway point in this 30-lapper. In fact, we've now got 14 laps to go here at Williams Grove for the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds GeForce Racing League.
3 riding the cushion all the way around the raceway. Dan McLaren in that 4th spot trying to catch up as we look at the 013. Whoa, knife's edge right up along the wall. Now coming back down the front stretch and past flag stand. 13 to go, Sean.
Oh, will they have anything for Kyle Parker, who continues to show the way out front in that 13 machine? Field Miller gets a run off of turn number 2. What can he do when they get to turn number 3? He's going to follow in on the cushion. Nicholas Vickery is there looking to the inside off of turn number 4. He gets right up to the back end of the 677 of Miller. Top 3 right together, banging the cushion down in 1.
As they come off turn number 2, Parker still with the race lead. What does he have to do to keep Field Miller and Nicholas Vickery behind him as we're looking forward off the nose of Vickery? Vickery to the inside, started up, diamond the corner, side by side with Field Miller now for that 2nd place spot going into turn number 3.
So Vickery to the bottom, got the car extremely loose. Parker into Miller. Miller goes to the top. We had 3 different lines going on there in turn number 1. They'll hustle back down to turn number 3. Kyle Parker works the bottom. Here comes Phil Miller to the top. He'll make contact with the guardrail off the corner. That allows Vickery to look to his inside, and Parker sneaks away with 10 to go.
Still battling for that second place spot as Parker changes lines, working the bottom side of the racetrack now. Car possibly a little too tight on that 013 as Miller probably a little too loose as he got into the guardrail. Vickery hanging right there with them, tucked tail behind the 677 of Field Miller. Parker trying to gain a little more advantage in the car 13 as he goes back to Top Shelf Racing.
It looks to me right now, Scotty, like the groove is probably the top in 1 and 2, and you can make the bottom work in 3 and 4. But it's going to be interesting here as Kyle Parker runs that lower line. Can Field Miller get the momentum and get the run for the lead? Right now, that answer is no with 8 laps to go. Kyle Parker driving a masterful race so far.
Nicholas Vickery, as you saw, was looking to the inside. He has run all over this racetrack from top to bottom, back from bottom to top, and Vickery just cannot find the right line now as we see Field Miller up top as he's trying to cut the gap to the 013 of Kyle Parker.
That gap is right under 0.4 of a second with 7 laps to go. Right now there's a pretty good battle going on just outside the top 5. Jeremy Prey, Jonathan Short, Kyle Moonen all bunched up 5th, 6th, and 7th on the racetrack. They're dicing it up in turn number 3 with Jonathan Short trying to get to the inside of Jeremy Prey. He will do so and take over the 5th spot. So Jonathan Short into the top 5 now in the 51.
That's the move by Short there. As you saw, he almost clipped that inside retaining wall, Sean, but he has moved himself into the top 5. Dan McLaren sits in that 4th spot all by his lonesome as we see Parker inching closer and closer to that inside wall, but still making it work to the inside out for the race lead. Field Miller way over the cush, trying to get some momentum to run down the 013, and Nicholas Vickery all by his lonesome in position number 3.
Yeah, it looked like Miller may have just drove it in too deep down there in turn number 1, pushed up over the corner and cost himself some time. That lead is out to just over a half second for Kyle Parker over Field Miller. They'll both try some different lines down here in turn number 1. The lead now 0.6 of a second. So Kyle Parker doing everything right here in the closing stages of this Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified feature event. But Field Miller keeping him honest as they work down turn number 4 down the front straightaway. 3 laps to go in the A main.
To go, Kyle Parker almost a half-second lead over Field Miller. Can he keep that space between them for 2.5 more laps? Nicholas Vickery, no change in your top 3.
So now you see Miller in the high groove. Kyle Parker running the middle off of turn number 4. They've got 2 trips around Williams Grove to go. They both go to the cushion in turn number 1. That's where they've been for the majority of this race, and it is paying off to Kyle Parker's liking of a 0.6 of a second lead. Field Miller drives it into turn number 3, and he drives it in deep. He cut it down by 0.2 of a second, but then lost the ground as they exited turn number 4. White flag is in the air. Final lap for Kyle Parker to hold on.
A lap to go for your race leader. Looks like he has it in hand. Field Miller sitting in that second place spot, but he's not going to have enough time to catch Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker off turn number 4. He will see the checker flag. Kyle Parker, your winner here at Williams Grove.
Field Miller will cross the line 2nd, Nicholas Vickery 3rd, Dan McLaren 4th, and Jonathan Short will complete the top 5. Jeremy Prey 6th, Andrew Smith finishes in 7th. Kyle Moonen crossing the line 8th, Rob Shaw 9th, and Troy Stewart concluding your top 10. Connor Ross 11th, Ludovic Buisson 12th, Chris Steele 13th, Austin Graby 14th in tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified feature event. That does it for tonight's racing program. Stick around. We'll head down to the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Victory Lane presentation and hear from our top 3 finishers here tonight. Also, congratulations to Jeremy Prey, the driver coming out of the B main, going from 10th up to 6th. He will be tonight's 2W's Plumbing Hard Charger Award recipient. Again, 2W's Plumbing of Naples, New York, a full-service company specializing in all aspects of plumbing, general contracting, and water treatment for commercial, residential, and multi-family housing. That's 2W's Plumbing online at 2WSPlumbingLLC.com. And congratulations, Jeremy Prey, your 2W's Plumbing Hard Charger here tonight. Boy, what can we say here, Scotty, for that drive? Kyle Parker, flawless over 30 laps here.
Oh yeah, and when he got the restart after the cautions, they were what he needed, rocketing back out to that race lead, and there was no looking back for that 013 car tonight.
We'll go down into the Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Epsilon Sprint Wraps victory lane here tonight and talk to our podium finishers. Nicholas Vickery finished in the 3rd spot in that 00 machine. Nicholas, it looked like they're about the halfway point that you might have something for those top 2. What changed there in the second stage of the race?
Yeah, so I tried to run the bottom to get around field, the 677. And I kind of just lost my marks up top, so I couldn't reel them back in. Once I tried to change my line to get around them, I just couldn't find it again on the top.
How close was it for you guys there? I mean, it looked like your nose was right on Field's tail side there several times coming down the straightaways.
Yeah, so me, Kyle, and Field, and a couple other guys are all in the same Discord. We're all on Spartan Racing, and I was telling them, I was like, "Look, man, I'm on you. So don't check up without letting me know or whatever." But it was really really close. I was trying hard to get around them.
How fun is it to run that close, though?
It's very fun, very fun. It's a little nerve wracking, especially when it's your teammates. You definitely don't want to make contact or take your teammates out. But yeah, it makes for some good racing.
Nicholas, good run here tonight. You'll finish on the podium with that 00. Anyone you need to thank for the good run here tonight?
Yeah, so first is Spartan Racing. We've been doing a lot of work here lately. I want to thank Field and Kyle for putting together that setup for us. They worked hard on that last night to get a fast setup. Apollo Race Paints, he does our paints. He's one of our sponsors come on board this year. And my buddy with MIA, Mirror Image Auto Spa. So that'll be about it.
Very cool. Congratulations on a 3rd place run tonight.
All right, thank you guys.
Nicholas Vickery finishes in the 3rd position. Just in front of him for that great battle there was Field Miller in the 677 ride. And good points tonight for that driver as well. Let's go over, catch up with Scotty DeYoung, who has your 2nd place finisher.
Field, you guys were having such a great race there within the top 3. Tracky broke down a lot here. Did that go into the setup here, or just could not catch that 013 to Parker? What were those last laps like as you just saw him pulling away?
Yeah, we had actually set up the car to run the bottom through testing. Even when it would go up really far, for some reason these cars were running really fast. But I think in our test session we may not have had enough cars to truly slick off that middle like it was in the race here. But 1, 2, 3, 4 Spartan, we were we were running pretty fast there. We were all in the same setup, so Kyle was just a little bit better driver today.
With running that top side, I mean, you guys were right on that knife edge, right along the wall there. And when you're bunched up like that, how fun is it racing with the 3 of you like that?
Yeah, I mean, especially people you trust. When you're around people you trust, it's not as nerve wracking. Those first couple laps were a little shady, but that's expected with when you run in a league. People, and but when we had the Spartan guys up top there, it was really fun.
You're the points leader here in this league, and now getting a 2nd place finish, adding to that points lead. What does that mean for you here in this new league of modifieds?
Yeah, it's nice to be up top. I'm really enjoying these cars. Kyle, I think he's missed 1 or 2 races, so he's starting to catch up. Whenever those drop weeks are in effect, I'm sure he'll jump me.
Who do you have to thank for putting the car on the podium tonight?
Yeah, obviously, my wife, she lets me do this, night in and night out. And all the guys at Spartan, like I said, we've been putting together some really good setups with our all 3 on the podium here tonight. The big blocks and the street stocks. We've been having some pretty good weeks here. Carolina Tea Company and Apollo Race Paints.
Once again, Field Miller, your points leader, coming home 2nd tonight in the runner-up spot. Thank you for your time, and good luck next week.
Thank you, fellas.
We're going to go to Sean Neested now, standing by with Kyle Parker in victory lane. Sean? Looked like we might have lost Sean there. Kyle, in the 013, your victory here tonight. How fast was this track? And you seem to get those jumps on the restarts. Was that what it was needed to get that car out in that 1st place position?
Yeah, it definitely benefits, I think, the leader when even in the double file starts or single file. I think the leader has the fair advantage, or unfair advantage, I would say. of being the guy to initiate the start. No one knows, you know. So it's always good because then you can move, you know, if the high line's fast, you can always, you know, you get that extra step. You can pick your line, you know, where you've been fast all night. And the track was fast. I couldn't, for the life of me, I could not figure out the high side in 3 and 4, so I had to make something happen.
Seeing that with we had 3 lines of racing at one point here in the race, but it seemed like the top of 1 and 2 and the bottom of 3 and 4 were the fastest for you. How did that track break down and going into the setup on this really tricky racetrack?
Well, it confused me because we ran a lot of practice races over the last couple days, and we were fast in the bottom, but we could never find a good line around the high side. And then this race, next thing you know, it's all high side. But it was fun, you know, battling with those guys, being with teammates with them. It was fun, but the setup was awesome. I can't thank Field enough. You know, the guys enough working on it. We put a fast one together here.
Who else would you like to thank for putting the car in that victory lane here tonight?
Got to thank those guys, and then I got to thank my fiance for letting me do this every single night, and then I got to thank Kingsley Heating and Cooling, Apollo Race Designs, and then you guys for always a great broadcast, and GeForce for putting this all together.
So Kyle Parker in the 013 car, putting it in victory lane here tonight at Williams Grove. Thank you for your time, sir, and good luck next week.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
What a
So
feature event here tonight, Scotty, for Kyle Parker. 30 consecutive laps, and he said he struggled there on the top side of 3 and 4, but from where we were, he looked pretty flawless around this Williams Grove Speedway.
What you call making it look easy, and like you said, the car was just a handful on the top side, could not figure it out, but definitely a very good race and leading all 30 laps in the 013 Kyle Parker.
So that's going to close out tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds presentation from the Williams Grove Speedway, and we'll get set. Scotty, next Monday night, we'll have those A&J Custom Creations Renegade Series. We'll be heading to Eldora for next week's action. So next Thursday night, these big blocks from Eldora, I'm excited for that one.
Absolutely looking forward to the dream, as they call Eldora. So be sure to tune in Monday night for some Monday Night Madness in the Renegade's 360A division, brought to you by A&J Creations. And we will see you back here next week, Thursday night, for more Thursday Night Thunder here in the Big Block Modifieds, once again from Eldora.
So for everyone here with GeForce Racing Leagues and GeForce TV, for Scotty DeYoung on the other microphone and Ryan Dugan, our producer here tonight, I'm Sean Neested saying good night, be well, take care of each other, and we'll see you at the track again here real soon. Good night, everybody.